Hey everybody, I'm Geoff Livingston and I'm with my Human Rights First New York City Marathon colleague, Scott Severs. Hey Scott, how are you?
Doing great, Geoff. Good to see
Very,
you.
yeah, man, very cool to be on here with you. We're what, like a little less than 4 weeks out.
Oh, it's coming up fast.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I am excited. We'll get into it, I'm sure, but it's been a long time for me. It's been 15 years since I ran the big race.
That's
So,
incredible.
yeah.
So you've run New York before, huh?
No, I haven't run New York. I ran since I ran any marathon. I live in Seattle, and my last marathon was Seattle 2010. But I
Wow.
figured, aren't they all the same?
Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah.
this one. It definitely has a different feel to it rolling into it, right? First of all, did you run today?
No. Today the time got in my way, so I have a run on. I got to get one in.
I know it's
But the schedule for me, and I don't know about for you, the schedule for me has been more on the let's not get injured track. So don't I've mixed in runs with spins and just try to stay healthy,
yeah, 100%.
enjoy
Like
it.
it's like the long run's the big run, right? Like that's when you have to get and everything else is kind of gravy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, it's funny, my father passed recently, so I've been running with people to make sure that I actually get out and run.
Got to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been really useful. So we have a group of people that are going tomorrow and it's gonna be pouring rain. I'm like, I don't want to go, but it could rain in New York.
Well,
So
that's the funny thing about living in Seattle is that I thought for sure I was going to be doing a good third of my runs in the rain and cold, but it's still summer here. It's 70 degrees and sunny today. So maybe in the next 3 weeks we'll get a few raindrops. I was looking forward to that actually.
oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, we wanted to talk a little bit about human rights first, which is the cause both you and I are representing. Both you and I have surpassed our fundraising goals. I caught up and
Excellent.
I wanted to ask you why you chose HRF.
You know what? It's almost like they chose me. My goal when I set out this year, I think I first decided I'd like to run New York. And then I tried to figure out how would I go about doing that. So I went and tried to get in. This was the second time around I've tried to get in on the lottery and didn't get in. And I actually tried last year to join a charity team, and there just wasn't any availability. I got um, shut out by a few different options there. And so this year I tried the same path, and there was Human Rights First. And I remember I think I pinged a couple of organizations, and they were kind enough to get back to me. And to be fair, I didn't know much about them other than the fact that Human Rights First is a pretty provocative name for an organization. It sort of tells you what they're all about, and I think it accurately captures the mission. But I thought, yeah, wow, this is really interesting, and so got connected over there and chatted with them, and was extremely happy to learn, more about what the organization's up to and how important this mission is, especially in a year like 2025. But in any given year, they're doing great work. So I kind of just fell into it, and I'm happy I did. So I'm really excited. Meeting yourself and a couple of folks. We haven't talked much, so I'm excited to be out there helping celebrate the fundraiser next week and kind of keeping the momentum going.
That's right. I'll see you there next week. Yeah, me too. I've been somebody that applied lottery for New York and have not gotten it in. I think I've tried 4 years in a row. But this year, because of the let's just say the climate politically, I felt compelled to look through the charity list to see if there was anything that was civil rights oriented. My family's got a long history of civil rights support. My great granduncle started the Anti-Defamation League. My dad was a journalist and a docent at the Constitution Center. So on and on and on. I could go on forever, but it's important to Livingstons generally, just defending freedom of speech, civil rights. And I saw Human Rights First. They were the only one. And I looked into them and I realized that they were a little bit smaller than some of the other guys that are out there, but they were doing a lot of really good work. And I felt compelled to apply and got on the phone with Hazal, and who's our fundraising manager at HRF. And she interviewed me, but I was interviewing her and I just felt compelled. I loved her. I thought she was great. Thought like what they were doing was great. And I've learned so much about them since then. I'm 100% on board with what they're doing. Really vital right now.
I agree with you. Hazal has been a great champion, and I know it's a lot of work to coordinate these things, but yeah, she's doing great work, and it's great to meet the team. More on the background, I do some. I'm in the wealth management world, and so I happen to do a lot of work with nonprofits. And this is a really challenging period for nonprofits in general. So a lot of my clients are in a position where government funding is hard to come by. It's being cut back. They're having to rethink how they come up with development funds and sort of like, rejigger the mix because a lot more funds are going to have to come from private sources than public. So it's a tough time. And I just think it's ironic. I mean, a company or a group like HRF also has to worry about that in the midst of helping other people who can be disenfranchised in an environment like this. So my hat's off. They're just doing amazing work.
100%. And, I live in the greater Washington area and I also work with a lot of trade associations and nonprofits. And so I'm seeing that as well on my side, really hard year for them. Just really quick for folks that are listening, please do check out the Human Rights First site. They engage in legal actions. I think they were formerly the Lawyers Committee for International Human Rights. So that should give you kind of an understanding of their group. But they also have a really cool tech build out where they create apps and they're tracking democracy actions across all the states in the union and are active in the current US environment. So let's talk about New York now. Like, what do you hope for with this race? Like, what are you thinking about going into these final weeks?
Um, my plan is to arrive at the start line without any major injuries or the wheels falling off. So
Yeah, right. The
it's been a
50-year-olds here, we're like, yeah, let's
Yeah,
get there.
it's been a while. And so part of the impetus for me joining up with this team and doing this run was also to experience New York. So my goal is to take it all in. I know it's a high energy experience from what I've heard. And yeah, I'm not the kind of person who's chasing a time goal these days, but I'd like to try to keep it competitive. And I did a long time ago, 15 years ago, I was just under 4 hours and I was pretty darn happy with that. And I'd like to keep it under 4:30. That's my goal. And I think we're pretty much on track. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's
That's,
just, trying to get there healthy.
that's great. Yeah, at this point too, I think this is quote unquote peak week in the training cycle. So it's pretty much in the bag at this point. So that's the right approach. Yeah, for me as well, I want to have a good race. I think it's really hard to PR in New York because there's so many people, there's so much going on, but I want to have a really good race. My dad was super excited about this. Every time I brought it up with him, he was starting to become an old guy. Like he'd always been very lucid. He passed at 77, but every time I brought up New York, he'd say, "Ooh." And he never did things like that. And I was really surprised by that. He actually donated to the campaign right before he passed. And for me, I'm dedicating the run to him. I don't think he would be too crazy about me saying, "This is for dad," going all rocky about it. We're going to do it for Mickey. There's an 80s movie reference for
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But, I want to do this for him. And, also because of the cause itself and the civil rights aspect of it, I'm dedicating my effort to him and I'm going to continue fundraising through the end because of that. For me, time wise, I'd like to be competitive as well. I think I finished the Marine Corps Marathon last year at 3:48, roughly the same profile. And I'm pretty trained up through the summer. So I'd like to have a similar type of performance. I think I finished Cleveland this year at 3:51. So
Right.
I'm tracking right there. So we'll see.
You're
Right.
you're doing great. I have to ask because you're way more experienced at doing this than I am. What they tell someone who's older and hasn't done it in a while? They're like, look, get yourself to the start line injury free. It's important to just be there and finish and all that stuff. But what you end up doing is you do a series of long runs and I'll get to 20 miles this weekend and then start tapering that back down. But I will never get to 26 until I actually do it. So what is the mentality of running 20 to 26 during the race. Do you have a sort of a mental approach for getting yourself across the finish line?
Yeah, I think that the real challenge in the race usually is getting to 20, believe it or not, because once you get to 20, it's even though the wheels might be falling off. For me in Cleveland, the wheels were falling off. I was actually on track for a 335, 340, but I was feeling bad physically from like the second or third mile, and I
Mhm.
had an injury coming in, so that wasn't surprising. But long story short, once you get to 20, it's like, no way am I not finishing this. Your head starts kicking in. If you're competitive in any way, there's just no way you're not going to finish it. But for
Mhm.
this one in particular, I'm really focused on starting slow.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's
Challenging when you have so many people around you firing out of the gate, I guess.
losing it, right? Like I hear that Verrazano Bridge start is brutal with people just going crazy right over that bridge and like frying their race. So I'm gonna use my watch and let it bark at me, and I've been really practicing that, like, when every time it tells me I'm going too fast, slowing down,
Mhm.
and I really wanna try to negative split this race, and if I can do that, if I can get to 20 with some gas left in the tank, I'd really like to cook that last quarter.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, they say, um, you don't need to run those extra miles, and you will find a way to, you sort of just keep going, right? And you're getting close to that finish line. So yeah, I'm excited about that piece actually, and just seeing, you kind of see what you're made of a little bit, and it's a good mental challenge, I think, as well as physical. Have you seen the book Running the Dream?
I've not read it, though.
Beautiful read about a guy who's a writer who is in his later in the running years, let's say, but he used to run very 230s, 240s, and he's trying to get back and improve on that time. He ends up going to train at high altitude in Flagstaff
Wow.
with professional runners, with elite runners, and he runs the Chicago Marathon. And I won't spoil it for you, but
Oh, come
it's
on.
a good outcome. But yeah, it's a good message for any of us that you don't really know what you're capable of, and you have to push yourself a little bit. And that's why I like, I mean, honestly, back to human rights first. I enjoy the idea of being involved with an organization that, quite frankly, might be seen as the underdog. They're up against some challenges, and there's what I have found in the process of reaching out to the folks that helped me raise money for this event is that they're all in. They're saying, look, what little can I do to help? They're here to support me, but they really understand the cause, and it's almost self-explanatory, and they resonate with that. So many folks here in Seattle really enjoyed the message. So it's like everybody's pulling for HRF as much as they might be pulling for us in the race.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like too, that's one of the better aspects of this particular effort is introducing people to HRF if they haven't heard about them, because there are large alternatives like ACLU and the like. I feel like those causes lack that personal touch that you can get with HRF. It's a smaller team. These guys are very passionate. They care a lot, even though they've been around for a substantial amount of time. And I really like their messaging and how they go about their business. And also that they're not just focused on the United States. I mean, we're seeing
Agree.
this kind of bend across the world right now, and we've seen some really challenging moments in different countries, even like Nepal, for example, this year. So
It's
Gaza,
there's
yes.
probably never been a year where you might be focused more on making a difference in the United States related to this. A lot of people just sort of assume that we do have our rights and we have laws and we're protected all the time and we've got advocates. But in addition to needing to step up the game here, they're a global organization. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, 100% right. So you wouldn't happen to know they're humanrightsfirst.org, right?
Yes, I believe.
They are. Good. So folks, do check them out. Also, with this post, we'll put both Scott's fundraising page and my fundraising page. And we hope you'll enjoy the podcast. So please do support us in New York. We're going hard. We're excited, and it should be a fun time. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
See you
brother.
out there.